Council meeting, would you please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the regular town council meeting for the town of Massena, June 15, 2016. We typically start each meeting with a 15-minute public comment period. During that public comment period, you can address the board in any matter. We ask that you stand and state your name and address for the record. It's a 15-minute public comment period. We ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes and that you only comment once during the 15-minute period. So, anyone like to start off with public comment? Yes, ma'am.
For purposes of the record, my name is Linda McQuinn. I'm the Director of Community Development for the town and village of Canton, New York. The reason for my appearance today is because I wanted to provide this board with a brief update on the work that we're doing currently for our Blue Way Trail. We've been involved with waterfront development since 2005. And it has taken approximately 10 years for us to get to this point now where we are collaborating with communities within the Grass River corridor. So for purposes of my discussion, I would just like to recognize the contributions that Massena has made to our effort, because you've sent two very good ambassadors to our work program, to our advisory group. Mr. Tom Sullivan, and I've worked with him directly in the past, and Mr. Don Meisner, who is your tourism promotion person. I have not seen his materials previously, but they look very good. I have to say that I've had a couple of opportunities to introduce Mr. Meisner to a couple of other groups along the corridor, and I will tell you that every time that folks meet him, they're just very enamored with the level of notoriety, if you will, name recognition that he carries. So for purposes of what we plan to do for future opportunities, I'm hopeful that this council will work with the town of Canton and with other of the communities, Russell and Madrid and Louisville, so that we can begin to do some marketing and some outreach efforts. Specifically, we're looking for tourism promotion. At this point, we're going to embark on another round of the consolidated funding application with a deadline of July 29th of this year. And we anticipate that with the current contracts that we have, we'll be doing a great deal of outreach. So we look forward to collaborating with each of you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. I will just add that I went to the last meeting of the Grass River Blue Way. There's also a Racket River Blue Way group that's been together a little longer and a little more advanced. It's an interesting approach. I think Linda's done a great job. The town of Canton has been sort of leading this, has done a great job organizing things. And at the meeting when I was in Madrid last week, I said that sometimes the grass is a forgotten river in Massena in my mind. You folks are hearing a lot about the racket and the springs and all that kind of stuff. But the grass is, starts not far from here and ends here, and pretty significant what that river has done over the years for all the communities. And this Blue Way effort is a way to kind of recognize that heritage and hopefully create a new heritage and some appreciation and also some economic development from the river. There's certainly some potential there for that, I think, with this. So I look forward to working more with the effort. And I think Tom went to one of the meetings early on in Canton. And saw some of it, so it's a great thing, and any effort we can to hopefully attract some new visitors and some new businesses is a great thing. So, okay, thanks, Linda, appreciate that. Any other public comment? Yes, sir.
My name is Mike Gagne. I'm here on behalf of St. Lawrence River Walleye Association, speaking for our 100 members on your fishing and what Massena's done with their fishing projects. I want to commend you for what you've done. I think we need a definite mechanism to further the fishing that has happened here. 14 years ago, I started a nonprofit group And its objectives were to restock walleye in the St. Lawrence River, promote tourism of our fishing communities, study and learn the effects of the invasive species, and to protect our rivers. So, in order to do everything we do, we have had to, which goes along with our tourism end of it, we have started an ice fishing derby, which at this point draws approximately 1,000 people. We are always looking and always wondered why we never got help, okay? There was never anything that was being done on the river. That is how we started and why we started. I think we have made the river come a long way with the help of others. I'm not here to talk about the Walleye Association, just a piece of it. And with what has been done this last year, is an important piece that Massena has stepped up and given some money and done and continued on efforts of fishing. It is one of the few things that we have here. I think it needs to continue. I think the conception of Fish Cap was a great thing. It never got finished, and very disappointing. I mean, it's one of the few things that we have here is outdoor recreation tourism. In total favor, now we've got the Racket River going, or the Grass River, excuse me. I think it's very important that we all, as a whole, all our communities, continue to support the fishing aspect that we've started here. And it takes more than a year to build a business, and I think you've got a good ambassador here, and our group kind of thinks you should continue to go that way. So,
I have a quick question for you, Mike. Have you got any, you or your members, any kind of sense of increase in traffic of people coming in to fish that maybe we didn't see before?
absolutely, no question. So it's beginning. I don't think it's anything that you can ever stop. I don't know when the money stops. I don't think it's anything you can stop. It just needs to keep going. The cycle needs to keep happening, no matter what happens here. If there's a plant that comes in here, a factory, whatever happens here, you still got to keep using those rivers. Anything else for you?
No, I think when you talk about it, gotta stop. Now, Oswego County's been doing this for how long?
What's that?
Are you familiar with Oswego County and their fishing promotion? They're doing it a long
A
time.
little bit.
Yeah, they've been doing it a long time, so.
Even you didn't, you barely knew the Grass River existed. You just said so. So
That's
you
right.
need
I
to
knew it
keep going.
existed, yeah, but in the summer, it's hard to find because of all the rocks, a lot of water.
It's out there.
I know it's there, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, my name is Jean Jemison, and my dog was seized by the Humane Society earlier in September. And I realized after reading over the code that I was overcharged approximately $40. And I attempted to make emails and send emails and make personal correspondence to people within the town offices, and I didn't get a satisfactory response. At which time it seemed impossible to do anything else other than to take the Humane Society to small claims court, which I did, and I won $40 by default. They didn't show up. In going over the records that are kept in the town hall, it's come to my attention that there are 52 people that have paid in excess of $1,800 over what the code requires them to pay. And I would like to know what the town expects to do as far as reimbursing these people. And I would also like to know what could be done to keep accurate records in the town of Massena. For example, it says, my dog was seized at large at 168 South Grass River Road. There is no 168 South Grass River Road. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Okay, let's proceed with the agenda. Thank you very much. And I've asked, Don Meisner was hired by the town under contract with the town to go out and promote this area and the fishing that we have. He did 4 different trade shows: Columbus, Ohio, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Springfield, Massachusetts, and Suffolk, New York. I asked him, I said, we don't know, we haven't been to the shows, we haven't seen the booth, give us an idea what's there, and he brought some of his paraphernalia tonight, and asked me to give a little presentation of what he does at these shows and how that works.
Okay.
Don, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, I'll walk over here to my scrolling banner, which isn't scrolling. But the purpose of doing these shows, and I will get it to scroll so you can see it goes up and down. The purpose of these shows is for us to have a chance to get in front of thousands and thousands of outdoor people and tell them the story about Massena. And most of them, 99.9%, never heard of Massena. They don't know this area exists. The only thing they've heard of is Black Lake. Black Lake created its own legend years and years ago, and there's a lot of people that come there. So one of the things that knowing this, I wanted to have something, and here's, first of all, this is the banner that heads up our booth. We have a 10-foot booth. People come by, this is the first thing they see, and of course, you can't really see it, but we didn't have any place to hang here. But it says, Massena welcomes sportsmen, come for the fishing, stay for the experience. And this is one of the big things that we try to drive home at these shows is, the fishing will get you here, but there's so much more to discover, and that's what we want them to discover. We want them to stay here and keep bringing their families back. So with the shows, after they see that banner and they come in and they say, Massena, where's Massena? I had a map made for each show which says, okay, this is the case of Suffolk. You are here. This is what I do. I talk to them. I say, this is where you're at. This is where Massena's at. This is how you get there. You can either come up this way and across and so forth. This becomes one of the focus of the booth. Then while all that's going on, we have this scrolling banner that's constantly showing different pictures of the fishing that's here in Massena. Now the purpose of this is, again, just to get their attention, because no other booths have this. And this does work. It's something we put up wrong here, but this runs for hours and hours. Yeah, I know, but I had to push it in. Mike and I didn't get it set up right. So this is an attention getter. Now, once we have their attention, we start talking about what the fishing is here. Then I've got a series of videos that I put together last year, which probably most of you didn't know that I was doing this. In fact, one of the days we came to your place and went down to try to create some videos in that part of the scene. So when I ask them, I'll say, okay, what would you like to fish for? And surprisingly, the biggest draw of people coming to these areas isn't what you think. We brought the Bass Elite here. We've had the New York Bass Federation. That's all wonderful. That brings crowds. But for families coming to visit, they're most interested in walleyes. And that's why our collaboration with the Walleye Association becomes even more important. And why are they interested in walleyes? Number one, I guess they taste good. Number two, they're used to going to Canada and traveling a huge distance and catching, of the 100 walleyes they catch, 90-some are 14 or 13 inches. We've got the chance for them to catch great big walleyes. And so our booth becomes very active. And I've got my business cards with the Massena, with this on it, so when they take these cards, they can go on our website, and then they can see all the rest of the stuff. I just wanted to tell you also, the one other part of what makes this area so unique, stop and think of it. Can you think of another town or city, any place, except for Pittsburgh, that has two major rivers that run through the very center of the town? Run right through the center. We've got the Racket River in one part with beautiful Springs Park. We've got the Grass River with the Veterans Park there. What's it called?
Yeah, Veterans Memorial Park.
Yeah. I mean, the Grass River is unique. Joe's talking about the low water, but there's something about that river that almost carries a mystique. And just like when the Pittsburgh Steelers came up here, and I brought the Steelers here to do a TV show, and I wanted to bring them here. I could have brought them any place in the state. I wanted to bring them here because I want to start getting celebrities to realize what they can have when they come here. And those guys, they stayed down the Quality Inn, and we went out to dinner, and they met some of you here. But as they went back, and they've got back to me since, they said this is the greatest trip they've ever had, and they want to come back next month. And I want them to get more of their friends to come here. So
They wanted to call in for your presentation, didn't they?
they wanted to call in tonight and tell all of you how important this was. And I thought, well, that might rub you all the wrong way, so I didn't have them call in. They wanted to do a conference call and talk to you all. But point is we start to get the name out there, and people start realizing, every single person I brought here, they don't realize what they're gonna find when they get here. And I gotta tell all of you that aren't fishermen, there's no other place, any place, that has the variety and the bigness of fish and species, and then the experience that they can branch off all over this area and experience so many different things. But I really believe that the key to the future is realizing that one of our greatest attractions is these two rivers that run through the town. Because the St. Lawrence River is wonderful, and everybody knows about that, and we've got trophy fish out there, and they can come and, but the grass in the racket, in particular the grass, offers another experience where they can take their family out and they can get in canoes or kayaks and they can slowly meander along and be in the wilderness. I mean, it has that effect. There's a group of military people, they're called Project Healing Waters. And I started bringing them up here last year to the Grass River. They've got an event scheduled for July where they're gonna take all their people and come up and do a float down the Grass River and fish. And again, what is healing waters? It's waters that have this healing effect on people's soul. And that's what we have. And we can't lose sight of that. So, you know, I could go on about all the other things we're doing. I created 12 different videos last year of fishing in Massena. And
Actually, we get to, not everybody's gonna be able to see it, but we get, if somebody comes up to the booth and says, I wanna fish walleye, you can show them a video about walleye, right?
okay, yeah, we gotta go. How do we go back to the? Okay, now this, and you might not even be able to hear it,
Oh, they should be able to.
but this is just a teaser. This is a 1-minute teaser I put together to be the beginning of all these. So, let's see if you can.
You can hear it good.
Can anybody see it?
Picture I sent.
Fish Massena.
Hi folks, I'm Don Weiss, and I'm here to welcome you to the World Fish Capital. There's every species of fish here.
This is on the Grass River.
Swimming in the St. Lawrence River and in the tributaries. There is the greatest smallmouth bass fishing I've ever seen in my life. Believe me, I've sampled it everywhere. There's hundreds and thousands of largemouth bass. People don't even associate areas like this with largemouth, and yet we've got fantastic largemouth fishing. There's walleye fights. Thousands and thousands of walleye swim up and down the St. Lawrence River. Not only can you bring your family here and find something for every single member,
This was
which
this
is
fall,
good about being
right down the road.
it's an area that is so therapeutic, so serene, that it will just make you feel better about life. I know that's a big statement, but just give it a chance. Come up here, bring your family on a vacation, come up here for the incredible world fishing. You'll discover a lot more. So I hope you join me in the years to come, in the months to come. Maybe we'll rub shoulders along the water, but I'll be happy just to know that I've had this opportunity to spread the word about something that I think is the greatest secret and the greatest opportunity in the fishing world.
So that's a 1-minute teaser to lead into all the others. And I've got some where I'm fishing bass and some walleye and northern, trying to spread it off, and it's only the beginning. I mean, what we really need to do is to be able to have all those videos linked to a website here in our Facebook page where we can start projecting, and it's gotta be different all the time. And I can go out and do these different ones where we show them what they can do. And let me tell you one more thing that I think is critical, is that, oh, my notes. I'm not even gonna begin to get through these, because you guys will get so bored it'll be pathetic. But, one more thing that is really critical that people ask me, and it's something we all have to build together. We need to build a better infrastructure based on what they need. And what they need and what they want is, okay, where can we stay? Where can we put our boats? In other words, if they bring their boats, they want to be able to dock them someplace or keep them in the water rather than taking them out all the time. Is there places where we can come and stay and also be fed? This is what they're used to getting when they go to Canada. And they're really interested in campgrounds, which we have. But as I do the shows next year, I've got again, each time we do something like this, we learn from it. We learn how we need to build. We learn what they're really interested in. And so that's something I think that we need to at least think about and address. And if there's any way we can expand upon those type of things, I think it's important. when we're talking about the Grass River, one of the projects that Linda talked about is where we would have easements for people to be easier for them to get down and put their canoes in. We would have portages that we make around the obstructions, so it's safer for the families. Things like this, and most people don't know where they can go to do this. They don't know where there's access. So we need to put together a guide that, and that's simple to do. I mean, I can do it, but we need to put together a guide that says, okay, on the Racket River, here's the Springs Park place, here's a place down the road. By the way, I went and did a show 2 weeks ago with a Special Forces guy that, he was a ranger. This was after the football players. And we went right down here on the Racket River at the Massena boat launch, which you said there was some kind of conflict with because they have it blocked where you can't get down to.
It's all set now, it wasn't a problem.
Well, we went around it anyway and got down there. But it was fantastic. They had he had a phenomenal time. We came back and we ate again in the Quality Inn, and he just can't wait to come up again and do this. But that's a great spot. I never fished there in my life. And went down and it was wonderful. So what we have here is wonderful. And we need to realize that, and we need to build upon it, and we need to realize that we can really make something of it. And it's a beginning. We're beginning. I mean, the one other thing I wanted to tell you is, and Joe knows this because Joe came and met with him, and I tried to get Tom to be part of this, but another guy that has a big sports show. It's near Boston. It's in Boxborough. And he's the head of this show. He also has a TV show. So I'm thinking, okay, if I could bring him here to experience what we have, then if we go out to the show, he can help promote Massena out there at a show. So he came here, and his intention was he was going to do a TV show about Massena. So he came and brought his camera person and contacted Joe a couple days ago. He says, I need logos and everything. He thinks this is going to be one of the greatest shows that he did. And he got shots down at Veterans Park. He went out to the locks. He went out to Barnhart, I believe, got shots there. So he's got, and he went out with Mike, and we went all over these waters near Massena and got at the intake and so forth. So he's got a tremendous amount of shots of what life is here in Massena. And I was his guest, and he told me, just talk about Massena. Because I don't know. He says, tell all the people about why they should come to Massena and so forth. So these are some of the things we're doing. There's a whole lot more, but we need to brand Massena. We need to constantly brand Massena. I've got a guy coming next week that I want to meet with, whoever wants to meet with him. But his name is Billy Dakota. He's a master of ceremonies of a lot of shows. He's a former Army captain that has had TV shows out in New England for years. He is one of the directors of the Bass University. And that's a big national organization where they bring people all over to learn about fishing. And I want to hold it, if we can, in Massena. So I'm bringing him out next week to look at, say, the Quality Inn, maybe, if that will hold enough people there, or whatever place we might have, and talk about how we could market it, how we could make it work. Because it's just another one of those things. There are just more and more steps to building what we're trying to build. So, anyway, thanks for, I've taken all your time.
Two things. Bass University, I don't fish, I don't know much about it. They come and do a presentation for a couple hundred people that sign up, and they talk about the intricacies of fishing, right? With
Yes,
some tricks and.
but who's they? They are the very top, the top pros in both the Elite Series and the FLW Series that they hired to come and do this. The people have to pay, I think it's $100 a day. They do it in a number of places around the country, and they're usually packed. Of course, their concern is the same as it was with Elite. If we come there, will we get the crowds and will we make money? And that's where we have to convince them that yes, we can make that happen. It doesn't really cost us hardly anything for them to come, but we gotta have a place for the venue, and that's why we're going to talk to Billy next week. He happens to be a friend of mine through others, so that's a step up that we have somebody that's willing to talk with us.
And the last thing, again, the non-fishing guy, I've been worried about, can somebody run a boat? One of the things we can promote though is bank fishing, correct? And there's good bank fishing if we have access, and we do have access in the sea, that's really.
Bank fishing, it's funny, you and I haven't talked about this, but that's one of the things that is really critical. Because so many of these people, if they're going to come up here on vacation, they're going to have their family, and they're going to want to know places where they can go, and the kids can fish. And You know, one of the places that Pat Kieran has some land on the Grass River, and he took me down there and showed me it and said, listen, you wanna bring soldiers, you wanna bring anybody here, he's cleared it, he's put a dock, I mean, it's an incredible spot. We could actually have a military event with families there, but those kind of places are critical, and we do have a lot of bank fishing places. I love to fish banks, that's what you see in that one video that you saw me with the huge walleyes. I'm standing on the bank, and I'm doing that for a reason, and that's when I at the show, when I bring people up and I say, talking about the big walleyes, and I say, let me show you. It's only gonna take a minute, because you know, their time is valuable, they got a lot of places to go, and so I start showing them. And I say, can you see this? I'm just standing on shore. I don't even have a boat or anything, and look at the size of the walleyes we can catch, so that's one of the little things, so, thanks.
Don, I've told you this before, I think I'm not a fisherman myself, and I think you can talk about anything, and you're an interesting speaker. I think you're doing a great job. One thing I was wondering about, like sponsorship maybe from Quality Inn or some of these other people to put this brochure together, you think that would work? Another question is, these people that come out of town, do they keep the fish? Are they looking for a place to clean the fish? Do they need a fish cleaning station in some of these spots, or?
You know, Sam, is a terrific question, because we're darned if we do and darned if we don't, in the sense that if we're gonna keep this fishing as pristine and as special as it is, we almost have to at least say we stand for catch and release fishing. On the other hand though, when families come up here, when they go to Black Lake, believe me, when people from out of state come, they're not really concerned with protecting our fishing.
No.
They're concerned with enjoying them the most they can. So that's a great point, and I think that's a wonderful idea that I hadn't thought of. I love that idea of having.
You're promoting keeping the fish, but then again, why not have something that's a convenience? So
Exactly.
they say we come back and we clean our fish, we can put our fish in a cooler, and
Yeah, I agree, that's a
Maybe
great
I'll be able
idea.
to freeze it right for the trip home.
Yes,
Freeze it.
yes. The more services we provide, that's the thing. The more
Make it easy
services
for
we
'em.
provide, the more times we smile when they come into town. If we have things like Massena welcomes all fishermen, little kiosks and so forth that we can develop, those things make a huge difference. They really do, with their experience. And they'll remember that as much as they will the fish they catch, how they were treated.
Don, can you expand on the number of people that attend the 4 shows that you were present at?
Yeah, they'll give you attendance figures, all the promoters, and that, sounds wonderful and so forth. They're packed with people. Not all the people that go through, I get a chance to talk to, obviously.
Right.
But there's thousands. In Columbus, Ohio, one day, it was so packed that they had the firemen and fire people there and everything, because it was almost a danger, it was so, there's tremendous turnout, because these shows are the time of cabin fever, when people can't do much of anything except go and dream about when they can do it. And so, tons of people come out, thousands in each show. And here's the other thing, just like ads you see on TV, they claim you gotta see an ad 6 times or 7 times or 4 times, whatever, for it really clicks and you start to respond to it. It's the same thing. Each time we redo these shows, all of a sudden, the people that come up, oh, remember I talked to you last year? You go, yeah, last year I was thinking of coming, and we're gonna make a trip this year. And so, but to answer, it's thousands of people.
Columbus
And-
is, over the 4 days, like 25, 30,000 people.
Yes,
through
yes.
the doors.
Yes, every show we did was good. Each show had a different, I hate to say the word class, but a different atmosphere of the people, because of the nature of the areas that they're around, whether they're blue collar, they're white collar, whatever. New York City, the Suffering Show is the oldest and biggest show in the country. That's the most prestigious of all the shows, and it's awful hard to get a booth there even, because everybody that has such a big impact. But for New York City people, they know Lake George, they know Lake Placid, they don't know this area exists until you show them. And here's the biggest thing I think that we're fighting against to get people to come here, is their alternative is to go to Canada. They're willing to go all that distance to Canada, so what we have to try to show them, and even the Canadian people, that we have just as good and maybe better fishing, because we have the available, the access to trophy fish. In Canada, you go to a lake, and like I said, you'll catch hundreds of fish. Your chances of catching a trophy are so much slimmer. Here, you have a great chance to go out in the Grass River and catch a muskie. You can hardly do that any place in the world. Muskies have fished 10,000 casts or whatever they say. You can go out in the St. Lawrence River and catch walleyes like you saw in that, they were over 10 pounds that I was holding up there. And I didn't even know walleyes were there. I was just trying to do a northern pike video, and we're catching walleyes. I mean, we have that here. But part of it that goes with this is we have a responsibility to protect it as well as to promote it. So with this, and like anything else, to be successful, it's gotta be grassroots. You've got to have the public on your side, taking ownership of it, feeling good about it, and realizing that every single person in that public can take advantage and benefit from a greater good in the community. And that's the very thing that we need to really capitalize on.
Thanks, Lynn.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else for Don? Okay,
Well, just,
we'll move on. Resolution, to approve the preliminary list of items to be de-accessioned from the Town of Massena Museum, to loan some of those items to the St. Lawrence County Power and Equipment Museum in Madrid, New York, and other appropriate town museums, to donate vintage copies of the Tatler to Massena Central School, and ultimately sell the remainder at public auction. This is 100 and some pages of items they have de-accessioned. Mostly, shouldn't say, well, a lot of them are books, old books, but there's other items. And as I said, some of the plan is, and I'm meeting with the museum board president and the historian Tuesday. The plan is to, they've already loaned some things to the Agricultural Museum, and they, when they were going through, they had, for example, here's one thing, they had maybe a couple dozen military uniforms. Some of those military uniforms came from someone who lives in another town, so those uniforms, if they were duplicate or similar to ones we had, they took them back, sent them back to the town. So if somebody was from Brazier, we happen to have their uniform in the town museum here, we send it back to Brazier, or Norfolk, or wherever. So that's where some of the things have been, that's to mention to other town museums. The Tatlers, the school was missing a number of years in their collection of Tatlers throughout the whole time, so a bunch of those went back to the school. They plan to sell whatever's left at auction and use that money obviously for the museum. But before we do that, we need to approve the items in this list are what is called de-accession. They've been formally made part of the museum collection over the years, and now in order to remove them from the collection, the town board has to take action because they're all town property. So by de-accessioning them, we say they're released from the collection to be disposed of, as the resolution says, a few specific areas and then the rest at auction. So we're gonna need a motion to approve the list prepared by the museum staff and the board for the items that are de-accession. And there may be more, and this is what they've been through so far. There may be a few more to come, I don't know.
so moved.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion?
Just to clarify a few of these things, like there's, I think, 6 or 8 typewriters, you know, and we can't have 6 or 8 typewriters, you know, I mean, a lot of the stuff's redundant, items that aren't even relevant to Massena, some of them really are just in the basement and sitting there, so, and I have reached out to 2 auctioneers, like we had discussed, and meeting with one possibly next week. And the money, you know, I think we should add to this that the money that's raised from the auction does go back to the museum for the building fund or capital fund, I guess would be probably the best. So I think, you know, if I could amend the motion to include that the money from the items auctioned would go to the capital fund for the museum. I don't know if you would be open to that.
I would.
Second.
That's fine. And you bring up a good point too, Sam, that they're not just willy-nilly getting rid of stuff. They're getting rid of stuff that doesn't have a specific connection to Massena history, things they have duplicates of. They had, I think, if you look in here, I think there's 8 typewriters that are going. There was 4 adding machines, there was, you know, and it wasn't, you know, an adding machine that sat on Simon Levine's counter at the store. It was an adding machine that probably was left over from someone's garage sale. They didn't sell it, so they donated it to the museum. And years ago, we took pretty much anything at the museum to build the collection. Now's the time to thin it out, and that's kind of what they're doing, so.
That board cherishes every piece that is
Absolutely.
relevant, you know, they really do.
Well, yeah, every meeting that we've gone to, we have to go downstairs and review all that they deaccessioned or that they're setting up to. And it's amazing, the record keeping that they've,
Oh, yeah, everything has a number.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it says, every number, and if it was loaned somewhere, that's indicated in here. Tattlers, they list them all, and it says, where'd they go, MCS it says, so, yeah, it's all documented, they've done a great job with that.
They have.
Okay, so now we have an amended motion, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, abstentions, motion carried. Disability renewal from Sun Life with an increase in long-term disability at a cost of $564 per year, it's on top of what we're already paying. Do I have a motion to accept that?
So moved.
This is a continuation of the policy we already have, right? Yeah, with that addition. Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, abstentions.
Joe,
Okay,
could I
sure.
interrupt for a second? The lady in the back made a comment, had a question, I'm not sure she got an answer.
Okay. As far as the, if we're gonna refund all the money, or?
Well, I think maybe, the relationship between the town and the Humane Society,
Okay.
Are you satisfied that you got an answer?
I don't think I was answered, I mean.
Okay, we spoke the other day, and I explained to Mr. Jemison that we have a contract with the Humane Society to provide
Right.
dog control services.
Right.
The code, I personally think is outdated, it needs to be changed, I talked to the attorney about that. But we don't really have control over what they do or don't do.
I know we don't, but I mean, if more than one person has experienced that,
Hey,
I
I've
think it's
never
a
heard
thing
from
that
them.
we need to address with them.
Okay,
Mr. Nicola, the other issue was when I looked over the records, that there was quite a disparity in what was charged to individuals. For example, I was charged $50 a day, another person was charged $5, someone else $12.50,
Well,
another
that's-
person $15, $30.
Yeah.
And it really, I mean, the person with the Chihuahua, more than 50 a day. Me, with the Cockapoo, 50. Someone else with the Shepherd mix, again, $50 a day. A Pit Bull, impounded 7 days, 5 days over the time they're allotted to be in the Humane Society, 7 days, $50, they were let go. So, yeah, there is a record-keeping issue for sure, and, I mean, I understand what you're saying, that it is outdated, I agree. There should be a fine when your dog gets away, it teaches you, just like you have insurance, because if you get into a car accident, you have something to pay for the injury and your insurance goes up. I understand that, but at the same time, if the law says $10 and people are getting paid, or having to pay an excess amount, something should be done about that.
I assume that when we sign that, I guess I shouldn't assume, but when we sign that contract with them, they would follow our codes. So if this is the case, then we either need to change our code or not sign that contract until they agree to follow our codes. Our codes are our codes, bottom line. And I think that we should either change our codes to meet a fair way of doing it.
Well, it should be uniform.
Right, that's what I'm saying, fair and uniform, I meant to say, yeah.
We weren't aware, I'm speaking as an individual. I wasn't aware of your situation until I read the paper, the thing, and now that we are aware, it's a thing that we can look at.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment.
One thing I have to say is, the Humane Society is basically separate from us.
Yes,
We
it
pay
is.
them for services
Right.
for animal control,
They're separate.
as well as we pay them to house dogs by law. So, I mean, they're their own board, their own government, their own, so they're not really, they're quasi, I guess, town of Massena, right? I mean, they're
Well,
not
not
really,
even quasi, they're really totally separate, private, not-for-profit corporation.
Well,
We do have a contract.
We do contract with them, and these people showing up at the town board meeting indicates that they have a situation that we can inquire about.
there we
Okay,
go.
I have no problem with that.
Thank you.
With
And
that-
I did speak with Dr. Gray at New York State Department of Agriculture in the Animal Control Unit there, and that those that they're contracted with are doing what they're supposed to do as far as the residents of the town or the village or whoever it is they're contracted with.
Yeah, we can do that.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Next resolution is, next up is a resolution to reject or renew a contract with Burnham Benefit Advisors, Compliance Services and Human Resource and Support Services for $5,000 for the year and authorize the supervisor to sign the same.
Excuse me, Joe, I think it's 5,500.
Is it 5,500?
5,500.
Listen to you call him saying 5,500.
Okay, and we've had a contract with them for a couple of years. They kind of advise us on human services, situations, specifically benefits, health benefits, those kinds of things. I know Nancy has used them a lot and has found them very helpful, and it seems to be money well spent in the past, and we'd like to see that continue, if you agree.
So moved.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second, discussion.
You're happy with the services, Nancy?
We had to prepare 1095s this year. Those were the forms that are required, that had to do with insurance, health insurance for all of our employees. Very complicated, and thank God we had them because they helped me get through it.
And they help with the Affordable Care Act compliance?
Affordable Care Act,
Yeah.
so many things that are coming down.
Good. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Abstention, motion carried. Next up, a resolution to authorize the town to go out to bid for installation of a metal roof on the town salt barn. Frank, tell us about this.
Obviously, over the winter, the last couple of winters, we've been losing shingles off the salt barn. So we need to replace that because that's where we store our salt. So I guess I'm looking for the board's permission to go out for bids to replace that roof.
Well,
And we can pay for it out of the snow removal budget, with money in there to pay for it.
I'll move on that.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, see, any discussion?
The only question I have, it just popped in my head, actually. Does the salt have any effect on the metal roof? I mean, I know it's on the ground, but I mean, just, no, okay.
Do you, I have a question, Frank. Do we anticipate shingles again or metal?
No metal,
Metal.
I specify
It's
metal.
isn't it? I thought it was, okay.
We shouldn't have to put another roof on, we should probably
At
all
least
down
your
there.
time.
So,
Lisa, it's your time.
It's calling for a 30-year.
yeah, 30-year plus. I mean, it's the original roof when the building was built 15 years ago. The wind has really raised, blown a lot of them off, so.
It was like my house, the 30-year shingles lasted about 12 years.
Sad.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstention, motion carries. Next up, we have a resolution to approve the 3-month work log for Town Councilman Tom Miller and Town Clerk Pam Martell. Tanzri, sorry about that, I always get blank. I know what it is, I know, but I just forget. I need a motion to do that, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Everybody, we do this for everybody, we did it for all the other council members. We have to submit to the state for retirement purposes, and others, a log, work log, and
Mandated by the comptroller.
that's right, thank you.
Only if you participate though.
And right, participate in the retirement system.
Yeah, you say retirement.
Yes.
Right.
Like
Okay.
Some of this stuff.
No other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Next up, a resolution to amend and re-adopt the 2015 standard workday resolution, and adopt the 2016 standard workday resolution, noting that all town employees have a 7.5-hour workday, except the highway superintendent, and airport manager, and the town hall custodian, and they have an 8-hour workday.
Gotta ask, why are they?
Should be 12, 13.
Joe,
Yeah.
Library should be too.
At least.
library is 8 hours.
That's what I'm thinking. There's also 8 hours at the library.
But we're not on standard workday that we post.
Okay.
Do they post one? They post their own.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
This is for just for town hall.
Except for the main
Okay.
employees.
No further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Make a motion on that.
Oh, we have a a motion on it, didn't we?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, well, we voted anyway. Do we have a motion to
So moved.
accept the work?
Second.
Motion and a second. Okay, now let's vote. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Abstentions, motion carries. Discussion, review options supplied by the airport manager to replace the tractor at the airport. We had a little incident with a tractor at the airport. Randy, tell us,
Well, I'll just run through
kind
it.
of count
Back
fire.
on June sixth, we basically lost it's a 2003 New Holland tractor, we lost to a fire. So I think everybody in your package just kind of has a summary. I'm just trying to tell you, just to say that the tractor we had was a 2003, was purchased for $32,000. And a replacement tractor minus the government discount, you're talking $58,000. So I looked into rental, they want $1,600 a week to rent one. So 18 weeks left in the mowing season, it's $28,000. There's a lease with low hours for $717 a month, you end up paying $69,000 because you can buy it in the end. And then there's another, basically a 60-month lease, no hour limitation. By the time you get said and done, the interest, you're paying $65,000. There is also, in the airport budget, there is $18,000 for equipment, but that has already been slated for the new sander going in Unit 33, the plow truck. So that money is, just so everybody knows, is not available. The adjuster was here on Monday of this week and basically says the tractor is a total loss. So they have not, they're trying to get back with us, they obviously have to research the value of the tractor. We're not gonna get $32,000 for the tractor. I'm not even gonna estimate, what we would get. I'm thinking, somewhere between 10 and 20 maybe. So we have to decide, because this also, for maintaining and mowing, this is also used for snow removal, the tractor. That's why it has to have a bucket on the front. So down below, we also contacted Leasing 2, who we've been using, and those are the different, the lease rates are all pretty much the same compared with Leasing 2 and John Deere. And so I guess I'm just looking for some direction. We obviously need to replace this tractor, and obviously the money is not budgeted for it.
Is needed immediately? What do you mow with now, or what?
We've got a smaller mower we're using, and we lose the ability to pull a big brush out. But, I mean, obviously you wanna wait and see what we get from the insurance side of it, and then I guess we can, see where the money can come from, I guess.
Do you have a recommendation of who to use? Who was the source?
I would use Virgin Currents John Deere, because it's government contract, it's right here, that obviously it's a state bid, so.
Right.
One thing to add, I think Frank and I looked at the tractor after we were very, very fortunate that the town employee was not hurt, because it happened quickly.
Yep.
And it was a total loss.
What had happened is a hydraulic line ruptured and sprayed right on the exhaust manifold.
Boy, that burns out.
And we actually used our fire truck, the airport truck, because we responded, we put the fire out ourselves by the time we rescued the Massena fire truck arrived. So we had it pretty much out by the time they got there, so. I guess I'm just giving you the information, and if you want, I can gather more information, we can talk about it next board meeting. And potentially,
Not a thing you can wait that long.
I was gonna say, why do we wait?
well,
I mean, I know we gotta find a source of money, where do we have equipment from there?
He just said the airport equipment fund is being,
it's already being used for the standard, that's being.
Okay, for this, all
There
right.
are FAA grants that they go on there.
We're gonna talk about FAA grants.
What do we have,
An FAA grant, you'd be 2 years getting a tractor.
that comes out of, if we use contingency funds, it would be, A fund, right?
airport is in the general A fund.
Yeah.
So we really don't have a big source to get money from, other than fund balance.
Right. But we're not talking about a huge cash outlay if we
No.
lease it.
If we lease it,
If you-
our first payment would be next year probably. We could,
Well, it depends on who you go with. Leasing 2, yes, with the Virgin Curtis, it's a monthly payment.
yeah,
Or
22 is a lease purchase,
Yes.
which means it's like a loan,
Right.
where the one you're talking about is an actual lease
Lease.
and buy to own at the
You
end, which
basically own it.
I'm not even sure as government we can do that one.
Is there a
I think-
cash out amount for the Laverne and Curtis to?
No, there is for the 400, there's a low hour, which 400 hours, we've already got 200 hours on the tractor, yeah.
Right.
That one, there's a lump sum in the end, that's just, you pay $26,000, and then you own it. But the other one, you can lease it for 60 months, and the last payment is yours, which you're end up paying about $65,000 with interest.
If you're gonna do a lease, you probably would go with leasing.
I would say go with leasing.
That's what I'm thinking.
And it would be a one payment once a year, like we do now with the other equipment we've done with them.
I would entertain a motion to proceed with the tractor at the state contract price. We would use fund balance to cover the first payment if we need to, but if not till next year, we probably won't. And obviously, we'll have to work it into next year's budget, the payment on it as well.
I make that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
And that
Motion
was
second.
the,
Discussion on the airport taxiway marking requirements. We've heard before that we are in need of updating the markings on the taxiway at the airport. It's a requirement. And now it has, because we've been cited a couple times, now we're facing a deadline of September 30th, 2016. We had a letter in May saying they're lowering the hammer on this. So Frank has been working to come up with some prices.
Just to go back, we got an extension from last year's audit inspection, certification inspection. We asked for an extension until this year. So we had the inspection again. Well, in the meantime, the FAA project, the taxiway project got taken away, which we were going to add that painting into that project. So that project was removed because of funding. So I sent another letter in asking for an extension, and then basically I got a call from the FAA saying, no, what if you don't get the project next year? They call this normal maintenance. Painting is normal maintenance that should be done by the airport, who owns the airport. Working and maintaining your fence is normal maintenance. So they go, you can't keep tagging it on to a project because what if you don't get the project? So obviously, they were giving me till the end of June to get it done, but they ended up giving me to the end of September to get it done. So what I'm asking for is approval to go ahead on the base.
Let me interrupt 1 second. I think we may have talked about it before. We can't go out and do this paint.
No,
We can't take a roller and a couple
No.
buckets of paint and put it down. It has to be done,
you
Certain
gotta have
specs and-
stencils made.
it has to be reflective paint, et cetera, typically, with something we cannot perform.
It's a large project. You're talking from taxiway, A, all the way around to taxiway, G. It's a big project. It has to, and all the center line, enhanced center line markings no longer meet specifications, so they have to be basically removed, and you have to put new markings down. The payment's gotta be sealed. There's a whole bunch of specifications that you have to follow to meet their requirements. So I guess what I'm asking is for the board's approval, is I wanna go with the base bid. I don't wanna talk, the other ones I don't wanna talk about. We have I put $70,000 into capital improvement projects, so we have $70,000 towards that 130. The overall project is $317,000. So, and we've been told it has to be done. There's no, the project has to be completed, and I don't know what happens if it doesn't get completed, where it all goes. Never been there before. You know, what the FAA does or how they handle that, so.
So you need a motion tonight to move forward with this at a cost of $130,000. We have 70
70 in
presently
the budget.
in the budget for it, and we're gonna have to make up $60,000.
Now, obviously, this is worst case. This is an estimate,
Okay.
okay? It may come in at a lower price. But, you know, you take your best information you have.
Does this have to be bid as well? Or these, I mean, these are just.
This has gotta be
these are
bid,
estimates
this has
that we
gotta be
have to
bid, that's why I said I needed till the end of September.
So really, you need a resolution to bid this project, and then we'll, we have to pay for it.
We're gonna seriously have to look at how we budgeted money. This is every 2 years, you know, because of the snow plowing, we're gonna have to be doing this. It's gonna have to happen. Because, you know, like I said, the money seems to have dried up from the FAA right now.
It's all going to Augsburg.
So,
So I would entertain a motion to, go out to bid for,
it's the base bid.
the base bid of markings, for safety markings on taxiway at the airport.
When does that take place?
What's that?
If we approve this right now, when?
You won't, by the time you get this approved, by the time we get a spec, by the time we bid it, you're probably talking August.
All right.
And it's gotta be done by
It's gotta be done by the end of September.
September.
And when you start getting into August, obviously, you know, the end of August, weather can change, so. We're trying to move it along as fast as we can.
Well, what you're telling me, we have no choice.
I got a letter saying from the FAA signed that, and I'll show everybody the letter, that it has to be, the deficiency has to be completed by 9/30/2016.
They don't say or what.
No,
Does Pat know or what?
no.
I mean,
The potential is you.
They'll shut down the airport, and that's one of the
They
concerns.
could,
They're
they
gonna
could shut down the airport.
If the taxiway doesn't meet specifications, they can shut down the airport, and then, I mean, it's gotta be done, we have no choice, and it's
Right.
crazy money, and,
So you mentioned a motion, where's the money coming from?
well, we're just going to bid right now, I guess, but we'll, but I mean, it's gonna have to.
About
go for-
fishing, I don't know.
We got 70,000 already, and the budget, and we're gonna have to find another 60, either within the airport, or, once again, fund balance that we've been whittling away at. So, again, I understand the motion to go out to bid on this project.
I'll make a motion to go out to bid, absolutely. You gotta bid it, you gotta see
Yeah.
where we are.
Okay,
But,
You
motion
gotta
and a
see where we
second.
are.
Okay, got lots of discussion, is there anything else? Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, abstention, motion carries.
take that motion and, ask that we, put Paul Roof on the museum board to replace John Davis.
Okay, we have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second, all right. Any further discussion? Pretty clear cut. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, abstention, motion carries. Okay, next up is, discussion on, the Massena Volunteer Emergency Unit Zodiac vote.
I got it here.
You're gonna start, okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Monday night Board of Manager meetings, Steve and I attended at Massena Rescue. And it was brought to our attention Monday night that back in October 2014, Massena Rescue put in a FEMA grant for a new Zodiac boat, Zodiac boat.
Kodiak Zodiac.
And, in this letter that they got, there's a deadline of August 31st, 2016. Whatever may have happened with that, that's irrelevant. What we have, the total of the grant is $48,000. I asked Norm and Lisa to come tonight. Norm has been dealing with a gentleman that's been administering these grants. He's got more information in front of you. You have bids for the boat and some bids for equipment, which is, you'll see the totals. Now, if you look at the Defender Industry one, there's a 2015 model. The problem with that, according, and I'll let Norm speak here, is that they might not be able to meet the deadline with that boat, okay? Then there's another Defender Industry, which is out of Connecticut, for a 2014 model, which is still brand new, and they will give us complete new warranty on it, okay? So in these packets, there's some quotes. Obviously, guys, we gotta move quick on this because of the deadline. This grant, is what has to do with this grant is, it's paid up front and then it's reimbursed, okay? So just to look at a few of these, obviously, the boat is coming in, if you see, it's coming in at somewhere around 30, anywhere from 30 to 35. So the grant total is 48, so obviously, Norm has gone out and spoke with these guys about some other equipment, which is on here. Again, it's something we have to act on quickly, so I will, huh?
Some training involved too with this, that this state, or that they'll pay for?
No, not any training. The boat's similar to what we have, but it's met its life expectancy, that's why we went in for the grant. And basically, if we were to put a hole in it tomorrow, it won't be replaced. So,
I'll turn it over to Norm, because he's been dealing with this gentleman from New York State that is administering this grant, and then he'll speak what he has to say, and then we'll be able to ask him any questions.
okay, well, just, you have everything in front of you there. The reason, there's 3 different quotes. One company gave us 2 options. Like you said, the 2015 is a difficult, because it's sitting in a warehouse at another vendor. The 2014 is not a problem. Like Tom said, it's a brand new warranty, so it's a brand new boat with a take delivery, and the warranty starts the day of delivery. What happened, we came in under budget, so you'll see an equipment list there also. So I amended the grant to be able to put some equipment in there too. And even though I amended the grant, I still didn't come up with enough to use the whole 48,000. It was just ridiculous, because some of this stuff's gotta be replaced down the road anyway, so. But if you look at that, the Zodiac that we're looking at probably is the 2014 model from Defender Industries with a $30,118.35 price tag. And then the equipment was another $12,917.71. The equipment, the boat is approved. If the board's willing to take the money out of our budget, pay it, and put it back in, it'll get reimbursed within a month. Ryan Lamont, he's the Homeland Security FEMA director that I've been working with in Albany. I've been talking to him just about every day to make this happen. And Tommy mentioned August 31st deadline. We have to have delivery of everything by the 31st, or we lose the grant. And that's why, if you notice on here, I had them put delivery by the 31st, or by the 15th, actually. Put it up a little so we have some cushion there.
Norm, excuse me for interrupting, the
No problem.
equipment amount, FEMA's okay with the equipment as well?
Right now, that's what I'm thinking. He said, Ryan looked it over, because I had to send him what I wanted. He said it looks fine. I sent him all the prices and everything. He had to put it to his superiors. He goes, right now, he goes, it meets all the guidelines, Norm. He goes, I don't see a problem, because it's basically, he said, it's a modification of the original grant.
Right.
So they gave us 48,000, and it's actually, 46 and some change, I think, or, so we're still under budget, but, we have to pay for it up front, and they'll reimburse.
And there is some money in your equipment fund right now, right?
I don't know if we have enough in the equipment fund, but I was talking with Roger, and he said we could adjust, as long as it's coming back in,
Sure,
so.
yeah, that's right.
There is enough money, according to Roger.
Oh, it is, I thought.
There is enough money in the capital fund. I believe he said capital fund Monday
Okay.
night, and we could use that, and then when it gets reimbursed
Split
from
it back up. Sure.
federal, we'll put the money right back in that.
All right, so the recommendation is to buy the 2014 model year Zodiac, and as well as a list of equipment, correct?
Yes.
Norm, one question, you said it's gonna replace a boat that's, past its useful life. Where's that boat gonna go? Is that already?
Right now, we decided to do, well, it's up to the town. I believe the town owns
Yeah.
the boat,
I
so.
believe we do.
What we were gonna do with it is, there's a couple options, in swiftwater rescue situations, where the motor on the back is a fairly new motor. So the motor could, probably go up. I mean, that's just my thought process. You guys do what you want with it, but, the Zodiac itself, even though it's it's old, it's still got some useful purposes, like doing a ferrying situation in a swiftwater rescue where we set up it's complex, but, to get into it, but.
I know where you're headed with this, but I would absolutely recommend that they maintain that boat also. Because if you remember a while back with that cruise line,
Yeah.
accident at the locks. If that would have been outside the locks, it would have been a whole lot worse. And it's not a bad thing until the older Kodiak has better days. I think we should maintain it and long, until it starts costing us nickel dime, but I don't see that happening because the motor's newer. And I think they maintain it, so we have a second one. We got a lot of water around here.
Where will we store both of them?
What's that?
Where will we store both of them?
There is room in the building, it'd be tight, but there's room. Cause usually all of our marine stuff and, our dive team stuff is all in
How
the
many
back.
times have we used the Zodiac in the past 2 years?
Zodiac is sell probably 2 or 3 times, but the thing is, if we need it, we could be called tomorrow.
I understand that. I have a problem, and it's maybe a discussion for another day. I don't think we should keep 2.
You shouldn't think what?
We should keep 2. I mean, we've got one that's brand new
We
and
have other
serviceable.
departments that have one that we can call on for mutual aid.
I'm thinking if you sold it, it would,
The other side of that coin is, though, we don't get anything for anything we sell. I mean,
Yeah, you're not gonna get anything, much of anything. The Zodiac itself is pretty much not worth anything.
but the motor is.
The motor's got some value, but nobody's gonna wanna pay what it's.
And for the price of that, Joe, I would say keep it.
okay.
All right, well, we can discuss that
We'll worry
later.
about
Let's
that later.
worry about buying this, and
Right.
we'll worry about that. I just wanted to, idea where that was gonna, where it was heading anyway, the old boat.
Tom, you wanna make a motion to move forward with
Can
this?
I just ask a
Oh,
question?
there you go.
The new boat, does it have a motor?
Yes, it's got a 60 horsepower.
Yeah, probably it's in
And,
there.
to get the reimbursement, who's gonna do the paperwork?
Probably I imagine Lisa would be involved in it, myself and Ryan he's gonna talk us through everything, and I
Okay.
don't know if somebody from the town board is gonna have to be in, I'm sure you will, cause it's
I'll have to sign
it's
it.
everything, it's gonna become property of the town.
Right.
Right.
But the grant is actually with MVU?
No, it says town of
The
Massena.
grant was,
I don't remember.
It says town of Massena.
And when-
I'm gonna give you a copy of this, Nance.
How did you apply for a grant in the name of the town of Massena?
Let me just read what it says. Where is that part? It says, I am pleased to announce the New York State Division of Homeland Security Emergency Services is awarding the town of Massena $48,000 in federal funding under whatever.
What's the date of that letter?
The date of this, the date of the grant was October 16, 2014.
That's the notification?
Oh,
see,
maybe,
that was the confusing.
well, maybe you did sign it. I don't recall it.
I remember something about a Zodiac a while ago.
This is it was sent to you and he CC'd Eric, the president then,
Okay,
and Massena Rescue.
okay,
This is the
So-
Honorable Joe
So
Gray.
you
they're
just-
gonna
you just-
expect the town to
right,
do the paperwork for that.
probably.
This is the thing,
But if they can do it and bring it over for our approval, then
Right.
that's a good way to do it.
he said he'd be glad to talk to us and talk us through
Good.
everything, make sure everything,
Okay.
all the,
Good.
T's are crossed.
All right.
and I's dotted.
You are extremely happy with the 2000, you've been dealing with this guy. You're happy with this 2014.
Well,
Is
yeah.
this you're recommending us to go this way?
I'd like to go that way, however, he hasn't got back to me yet, we may be able to get the 15 from this guy, which is,
Which will still
it's
be
still
under,
within, it's still within the parameters.
if we're lucky. Okay, yeah, let's move with this one.
Do the
And if
motion
we-
for 15, and if we don't get that, go for the 14. Right?
I would
Right,
think so.
that's the recommendation, go with the Defender Industries is what we're looking at.
I'll make the motion that all right, I can change it to 2015. If they don't get that, we'll go with the 2014.
And the motion, and the resolution can say that, right?
Yeah.
The first choice is the 15, if that doesn't work,
Okay.
then we'll fall back with 14. Okay, I have a motion, is there a second for that?
I'll second that.
Motion is a second. We've had lots of discussion, do we need any more? Good, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Abstentions, motion carried. Okay. Just seeing if we need to move anything up so someone can leave. I guess we don't. I always have done it stuck here. Okay, good. New York State Assembly Bill 10467. This is a bill that has been proffered by Assemblywoman Addie Russell. It would enable Massena Memorial Hospital as a town entity to enter into cooperative agreements, and also gives them authority to borrow money up the $25 million limit.
I think that was omitted, Joe.
Oh, that was been, okay, I don't see that, okay.
I've got it here if you want me to read it.
Sure.
Introduced by M. of A. Russell, read once, I guess I want to read that part. The people of the state of New York, represented in Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1, notwithstanding any general, specific, or local law, charter, provision to the contrary, the Massena Memorial Hospital shall have the power and hereby authorized to engage in certain collaborative activities with other parties for the purpose of promoting, improving quality of and access to healthcare services and improve clinical outcomes. Such collaborative activities shall include but not be limited to entering into contracts, leases, subleases, and other agreements for the purpose of affiliating with other hospitals, medical colleges, or colleges in conjunction with the hospital's health facilities, which agreements may provide for the management, operation, and staffing of health facilities, the reconstruction, renovation, or addition to health facilities, the provision of necessary facilities, utilities, services, and such other conditions or features necessary and proper for such purposes for the public health and general welfare. This contract shall take effect immediately. So,
What does the hospital CEO say about this?
He informed me of it, he was not aware of it. I don't think he has, if he has an opinion on it, he didn't express it to me, let me put it that way, so I don't really know.
Well, obviously, we need his opinion. And that of the chief financial officer and representatives from the board of managers.
Well,
Were you just bringing this up for information, or you want to vote on it?
I don't know.
Not without the hospital CEO being here.
Why not without them being here? They've asked for
It's his
affiliation.
hospital.
They've asked, it's not his hospital, it's the town of Massena's
He's the
hospital.
CEO
It's the
of
town of
that
Massena's hospital, it's not his hospital.
He is the CEO of that hospital.
well, what this provides is that in the event that the privatization doesn't work out or doesn't please the town of Massena, you know, there's always that option that we've got to affiliate, which has been the stumbling block that everybody's been talking about. Why we need to de-access the hospital. I don't know if that's gonna be such a good idea. I mean, we should have this in our back pocket as an option for us.
I haven't spoken, do you think they have the votes to pass it, any assembly? Well, the session's done next week, right?
Is there a companion bill?
According to the website I was at yesterday, no, there's no.
I think that'd be dependent on the support of this town board.
Convenient bill would be?
I mean, you can sit here and just wait for the transfer agreement and say, well, I guess we'll have to take that, you know, 'cause that's what we have offered to us, or try to negotiate that. But if you have nothing to fall back on, you need to be able to affiliate to meet the criteria of the district and the regional council. So, I mean, if you don't have that, you know, like Bob says, some of these grants won't be available to you if you're not affiliated. So it's just another avenue, it's something to fall back on, something to look at, you know, in case things don't work out. You don't know what the transfer agreement's gonna be. Maybe be prepared if it isn't something that's up to our expectations.
I'm not opposed to this effort, I just don't, I'm concerned there's no convening bill in the Senate. So, if we don't have, if it doesn't pass both houses, then it's not gonna go anywhere. I don't think it's gonna get through this session, but, so
I don't think it's gonna get through this session, there's only a couple more days left.
Right.
But I think it's something that we should be looking at.
So you think we should do a resolution in support of this bill?
I would think so.
Why does it need to be done tonight? Because if it's not gonna get passed tonight, it's gonna have to wait till September. So if Albert's,
No,
if
wait, no, they'll have to
Albert
wait
wants to
till
look
next
into,
session, I'll have to wait till December, or January.
January 17th.
so if Albert is looking to get more information. We don't have to act on it tonight, because it's not gonna come,
I want an opinion from the CEO.
How long has he known about this? How long have we known about it, Joe? Weeks,
Couple
right?
weeks, couple weeks.
So I think he had his opportunity to give his opinion.
I don't know that.
Well, and I don't know as if, I mean, he wants to go to privatization. I mean, it's almost gonna be a contest, or not a contest, but a contrast. They're gonna wanna go to privatize, and that may not be in the best interest for the town of Massena. You know, I mean, they're having an evaluation done of what that hospital is worth. You know, are we going to do the same thing? Or are we going to just accept what they think the hospital is worth?
We've had a discussion before, we haven't made a decision on that, we should. If we need a separate evaluation, we need to get that going, we need to find out we're gonna pay for that.
I mean, what is
We've
the
talked about it,
timeline
yeah.
for it? Does the CEO talk to you about that?
The timeline, they have not submitted a certificate of need yet, I think they expect to do that by the end of June, is the last time frame I heard. Then, of course, that process will go, whatever, I would take it as long as it takes in the Department of Health. But I think they're hoping to get it done within a year. think that's.
Yeah, I mean, the Department of Health, the certificate of need has been filed, but they're also moving on other fronts. I mean, they're
Yeah,
having,
no, they haven't filed the request yet for the certificate of need, they're still, I don't believe they filed that yet.
yeah, they were looking to do that at the
By the end of
May.
June, I know, I think the target now is end of June, so.
So, you know, you've got all these other things to look at. I mean, they're doing the evaluation as we speak.
Right.
It would be nice to have a tool in place, you know, I mean, maybe it won't fly in this time around, but if we can, maybe concentrate our support on that as well, so we have an ace up our sleeve, so we have something to fall back on, I think it's worth looking at. There's still time.
I don't disagree, but I will say this. It would have been nice to have been consulted in the process of drafting. this
Actually, you know, Joe, you mentioned that, and I wanna go back to December's meeting. And Assemblywoman Russell was here, and she asked about Public Benefit Corporation.
legislation.
She asked about the board's support to look into that, and our input, and we didn't do it. I brought it up in a meeting,
That's
I
right,
believe in December,
because we made a decision.
and you guys decided not to forego that, or you decided to forego that and not have the input. So this bill came about, in lieu of the Public Benefit Corporation, which I think would be better because you can, distance the hospital from the town as well, but still have control of it. So this, I would say, is in lieu of that, and, it may be a tool that we need to use in the future.
This is under discussion, and tell me why, since this was just brought to us tonight, why does it have to be done tonight, or can it be tabled till next month? Why don't we look into what we have to look into?
Because then session will be over.
But, okay, if we make a resolution tonight, is that gonna make it doable before next January? You're saying,
It might be. If not, we can look at it again. There's no harm in it.
There are too many ifs involved in this deal here.
I just,
Well, I mean, it's rather clear cut. You know, they're just,
it's not, it's.
Charlie Fodd said we can't affiliate.
and
Bob Willeben says we can't affiliate, although I believe they are affiliated right now. I mean, even the radio advertisements say we're affiliated with doctors from Fletcher Island. I mean, the point blank says it on the radio announcement. They're in a partnership, and they also said they're affiliated. This allows them to affiliate if it comes to that, okay? So if the transfer agreement isn't something we like, we can't just say, well, we're gonna be municipal. We also have to have this in place, something like this.
And I think the short answer is, nothing will proceed without our approval, whether it be, private not-for-profit or
Exactly.
entering into agreements,
Exactly.
any kind of, so.
Exactly. But if we don't have this in place, then we technically can't follow an
That
affiliation.
option is not there, I agree.
Yeah,
So, again, I'm not opposed to this bill. It's, won't change anything without a companion bill in the Senate.
exactly. So,
well,
And that
Has
won't happen
anybody,
until
have
next
you
year.
talked to the senator?
Griffin's office has said if they will do what the town board asked them to do. That was the last communication.
So it sounds like you're in favor of a resolution.
I'm not opposed to a resolution.
Okay, so then you'd be in favor of a resolution.
So then if we pass the resolution, Senator Griffith's office will proceed.
If we direct them, if this board agrees that we should direct them to do that, yes.
Well,
I don't think it's gonna get done before this session, obviously, it'll be January of next year.
There's still,
You're the liaison, do you, when you go to the meetings, has this come up?
No, it was just introduced.
In other words, the CEO has not made any statement that we know of on this.
No. Well,
this is a bargaining tool for us, not for the hospital.
Yeah, it's for the asset for the town of Massena.
If we just sat here on our hands and waited for this transfer agreement and didn't do a thing, that'd be unjust to the town of Massena.
Yeah, it's a tool that we can use. We can even use it as soon as it gets passed,
Yeah.
even if the privatization hasn't
Exactly.
taken place.
Exactly. It could open the door for affiliation, help the hospital right now.
If it went through both houses and was signed by the governor, yes.
Yeah.
None of it will happen until those other two missing pieces happen. Senate
Nothing
bill,
would happen until we pass a resolution.
Senate bill, and then governor's signature.
So we should, yeah,
Bill passage, which is passage of this bill, passage of the Senate bill, governor's signature.
Either way, it's not, whatever, we've discussed this, let's move, I mean, it's not gonna hurt us, it's not,
You prefer to wait, Tom, is what you're saying, right?
Time is of the essence.
it's not gonna hurt us, because obviously, it's another tool we do have, but, I mean, here it is, we brought this up in January, like you said.
Yep.
Here it is, June, and now we're voting on it, because there's only a few days left. If this was done back when we could have.
If you remember right, I sent an email out 3 weeks ago and asked for a meeting.
But I'm saying, when Addie was here in January, I wish this would have been done so we could have had more of a homework. Now we're in a rush, being in a rush to do everything.
It's simple language, it's one paragraph. It's not like a public.
I'm not
benefit
opposed to it,
program.
I'm just saying, it's
You're
just,
not opposed to it either, okay?
I would like input from the hospital before we vote.
I would too.
So I'm certainly in favor of waiting on it, because I don't think anything's gonna change dramatically. If we said tonight we're backing this bill, it may pass the assembly, it's not gonna get in the Senate till January, and maybe it'll pass there if we're at it. I think the deadline to write bills was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think this came in just under the deadline for submitting bills for consideration. So we're not gonna get a Senate bill until next year. A companion bill if there is one.
so it doesn't matter if it passes or not tonight.
It puts it in motion, the assembly could approve it.
Then they'd have to approve it again next year with a companion bill. So it's, I think 6 of one, half dozen the other when it comes to the
So
assembly.
these guys wanting more information,
well, I don't think you need any more information. I mean, they're just giving the Massena Memorial Hospital the right to affiliate.
Yeah.
We
Whether it
charge
takes
the Board of Managers with overseeing the hospital and setting policy for the hospital. That is why I think we should have their input. It would be like us telling any other board, here, eat this, we just cooked this up, eat it, and by the way, let us know if you like it after you ate it. Quite honestly, that's how I see this right now.
Right, it's not gonna pass this session.
so what is the main, then, what is the purpose of passing it tonight then? Tell me, you say it's not gonna pass that, so what is the purpose of
Who knows,
having
it might pass.
And if it passes in the assembly, Tom, it will be passed by the assembly, but still won't go any further until there's a companion bill in the Senate. And that's passed, and then they would have, if that's in January, then somebody's gonna do this all over again.
Was Senate deadline same day as the assembly deadline?
As far as I know, yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, they're just,
In the meantime, I guess, in the meantime, movement towards privatization continues.
Yes.
The hospital board of managers, two CEOs, and this board have said, we want to proceed towards privatization.
Correct.
Okay? Now, we don't know what this is going to affect. There's a lot of "I think" involved in this so far. But without the hospital chief executive officer giving us an opinion on what he feels about this bill, do you know what he feels
No.
about this bill?
And I haven't asked.
Do you know?
No.
I think we're arguing over a mute point, guys, it's not gonna get passed. So let's talk to them, let's discuss it with the CEO, and we'll have this tool come January if the transfer agreement is not there.
I think we have three options tonight.
Okay.
Support this, pass a resolution supporting this bill, take no action, or table it. Until that makes it sure it's on our agenda next month. And in the meantime, I think we need to do something else to talk about when we decide what we're doing with this. So, do we have a resolution anywhere, a motion? A motion to table, a motion to move forward, or what do you? Or do we wanna wait till next month? I mean, like I said, we get,
Well, you said you're not opposed, Tom said he's not opposed. So that would be 2 yes votes, I would say. You know, I'm for it.
the question is timing, I think, for me, right?
Right, timing.
Do I vote for it yes tonight, or do I wait and talk to the hospital and then consider voting yes for it? So, that's what I'm more comfortable with. Again, I don't wanna
That's what I'm wondering.
say to the hospital board, here,
So I thought you said Bob sent this to you,
he did.
so he must have seen it.
Yeah, I'm sure the whole board's probably seen
Okay.
it.
That paragraph,
I've not discussed it with them.
that paragraph. Do we all agree it's not gonna get through both houses? Do we all agree about it? Yes, no, you agree? Do you agree?
It's not gonna get through.
Right.
Not gonna
So
be-
then, it's brought to us at this point, it's not gonna get through. Let homework be done, and we'll table, I'll say table to next
You
month.
want a motion, is that a motion to table?
I say table to next month, so the people that need to do their homework on it can do their
So
homework
we
on
have
it.
a motion to table, is there a second?
Second.
Second,
Well,
okay.
the table, I mean, there's really
Yes.
nothing there, really.
Right,
No
because I take
resolution.
no action on it, really.
Yeah.
No, but if there's a motion to table, then it's officially tabled. I mean, and
What's officially tabled?
this is tabled until next month. So we wouldn't take any action on it before that, any earlier than that. The earliest we could take action would be next month, if you table it for 1 month.
I mean, this is just a discussion.
Right, so if,
So it wasn't a vote for the hospital privatized, it was under discussion in December.
what's your
On the
pleasure,
agenda.
what do you wanna do? You wanna just drop it, or you wanna table it, or you wanna pass it?
Well, they
If
were
there's
motion
no
on the floor.
motion, then we've got a motion on the floor to table with a second, and the last thing in Robert's rules, motion to table supersedes all motions. So we need to vote. If there's no other discussion. Those in favor of tabling this for a month, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign?
Nay.
Nay, nay, aye.
I like nay better than aye, it's more
Okay,
pronounced.
that's fine. All right, so it's tabled.
Route 37 across the mall, there's a
Yeah.
piece missing out of the middle.
Somebody did work on that one, I think, at one point.
Oh, they did?
I'm
They
pretty sure.
touched it up?
Cut
Pretty sure
down
they
some
patched it.
old signboards.
Yeah, there were some other signboards to the right, they were falling down,
Yeah.
and that had to be, it was
Right,
like
but
last.
I thought we patched or repaired that, somebody, maybe it was the chamber, patched or repaired that sign.
I mean, that one looks, I mean, it's in good repair,
It's decent, yeah.
other than the tree hanging over it, right?
The state property.
Okay.
It's actually, maybe power authority property, but I don't think anybody's gonna complain if we cut it, quite honestly.
I'll put it on my list.
And we can talk, so if you feel better, we can talk to somebody. We can call,
This is on 37
Yeah,
by Aldi's.
across from the mall, yeah.
we can call the DOT, Frank, and see what they say.
I'll do it.
think it is.
One branch
mandatory.
will take care of it.
One is the one with the ship on, I'm not sure, there's a few of those around town, there's one there, also one on 37 as well.
The one by the mall we're talking about had a ship on it at one point.
Well, no, this is a separate sign.
Glare.
Oh, it is by the high school, yeah, so by the high school on,
Larry Fraser designed it.
by the high school on 37, there's another one, looks like a, kind of a ship's,
Yeah.
like a mast or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then,
There's
one on
37,
420.
There's one on 420.
yeah,
And there's another one on 37 by the school.
I think, quite honestly, we need a welcome to Massena sign at the base of the bridge, as close to the bridge as you can get it.
there used to be one there at one time, right, I mean,
When they had the traffic circle, there was the
Yeah.
flag pole
I
and,
I think it was gone, it went away after when the traffic circle.
yeah. oh, okay.
and I'm sure we're not gonna order signs tonight, but it's just something to start thinking about when you're out looking at signs, we need to, look at that, there's one that says Town of Massena, one says Village of Massena, coming in from 420, maybe we kinda combine that, and cut out the 3 signs or something, I don't know, maybe we can,
You talk about the green signs?
yeah, oh, those are state, aren't they?
They,
Yeah.
no, they're not state, but they identify your
Boundary-
town and the
boundary.
village,
Yeah, the boundary.
the boundaries.
Okay. And the other one is, I don't know if you wanna pass that down, it's like a flag.
Yeah,
that's the one.
yeah, I see, yeah, I know, yeah.
Well, so, we don't know what happened to that 40,000 that you had applied for.
Well, with like all the compact money, we spend it somewhere else.
Did it go out for paint?
Um,
A couple gallons.
There is a, if you, I've been impressed with the one, and I don't remember, now you gotta go, I should take a picture of it, I haven't been that way in a while. If you're going Route 11 from Potsdam to Canton, you come into Canton, they have like a nice, it's kind of 3-dimensional, and maybe it's on 68 too, coming in from Hardinsburg, and they're very, very nice. I think they had those done by a company in Plessis, and they're the ones that I talked to when I put the $40,000.
The ones with the gold.
Yeah,
lettering,
right. And that's, and that's where I get the $10,000, because that's basically what
I think,
signs like that cost.
I think we need to identify who owns this property first, and see what we can do there, or whatever, it's, the grass is growing up, so it's not really,
And where's that with the one on?
That's on
State-
420.
State, 420?
yeah.
It's probably gonna be, it's gonna be a state road, it's.
So it may be in the
state-
right of way, but
it's in the
somebody
right of
probably
So it's
way.
right away.
It's on 420. That's near the, there's a garage, the old gas station.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Frank, why don't we try to get a meeting, I know you don't have time, and I don't want another meeting, but with, there's a sign guy from DOT, I think out of Watertown. So if we talk to, Ernie Olin, he can point us in the direction of the sign guy, maybe Ernie and the sign guy and you and I can sit down and figure out how that works, the whole right-of-way thing works.
Well, you
But-
just, you have to get their permission, because you're in their right of way.
Okay,
Do it.
so we already know that, okay. But I guess, again,
You would probably have, before you would go and order signs and spend the money,
Right.
you wanna make sure they allow you to put the sign.
right,
Anytime,
They might have
when you
specs.
asked me, Joel, remember you asked me when you first started, you wanted to mark our boundaries,
yes,
like on the 37, County
Yes.
Route 37.
right,
I went to the state, I said, we'll order, no, you're not gonna order the signs, we will determine what size they are
that's
and where they
right,
go.
that's right,
And we'll put it up for you.
that's right.
So you basically have to have their permission before you can do
And
anything.
they've been good about that, I asked them to put up signs saying where the town hall was in 37, they put those up on right by McDonald's and whatever.
And they'll do it, but
Yeah.
they'll do the normal
Right,
road signs, but
the
they're not gonna
highways.
put up, obviously, you're
No.
not gonna go put
I mean, I
up.
like the idea of the sign you're talking about, but this application, actually, there's more or less a ditch next to the road, that has cactus
It's
growing.
swamp.
Yeah, it has cactus
And
growing
you gotta
in
be
it,
careful, because it's wetlands.
yeah. So I'm not sure if that type of sign would fit. I mean, I think this billboard type sign is better suited there, it's
Oh,
larger,
maybe.
it's,
I get
don't know-
calls all the time about those cattails, people want them cut, I said, it's not me, it's, actually, it's the state right away, and there's nothing, you really can't get in and mow it anyway.
no, but I think we need an elevated sign more like this, that's larger in that,
Right,
in that
and-
specific area.
And I don't know that I would want every sign to be those nice,
No.
big, real expensive signs.
Maybe on Andrew Street or,
Any road you're talking into here is gonna be a state road,
Understand, yeah.
420,
yeah,
37,
it's true,
Andrew
Sixth
Street,
yeah, Maple Street.
Maple.
Except the county roads coming the back way of the township.
Yeah.
So I just think this, maybe needs to be repaired or something to that
Okay.
size, if we can stick with that. That's just my opinion, because of the nature of the,
Is that something you would pursue?
Isn't there a company in Colton that did the original signs that look like the ship or the boat?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're still there, I think they've done the ones
I
in
don't know of
Colton.
anybody else around here that,
They
they actually.
I mean, or maybe even having it freshened up, I don't know, but I mean, I think that size and that stature for that area.
They actually, they built them and installed them.
And then plus there's the KFC, the Elks, all their logos, Rotary, Kiwanis, Lions are all around.
Contribute to the,
I don't think they
And
do.
a lot of those are somewhat, some of those are somewhat faded and could be spruced up a little bit too. So, anyway.
Okay, so where are we going with this? What are we doing?
If you wanna reach out to the guy, the company in Colton, and see what it would
Yeah,
cost.
Email me with some information, whatever you have, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have the one in Colton, I don't know, the one I was talking to was in Plessis. That's the big, the big,
I mean, if there's somebody local too that can,
I don't know, anything else on that, Frank? Nope. Okay. Just follow up on the Celine D. Philibert Cultural Center Museum. Obviously, the opening was last week, a very nice affair. Again, we'll publicly thank Randy Pete for his generosity and Dick McGee and Carol McGinn with the Heritage Homes for their generosity. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful facility. The town has invested some money for some expenses we had, obviously we had man hours, person hours invested there, as well as some flooring. But it's a beautiful facility, and I'm meeting with the museum next week to get a better idea of when they're planning to move. I think it'll be relatively soon. And I think what we'll do is have an event, an open house or ribbon cutting or whatever when they do finally move the museum. And we'll note that in a very public way to make sure people know they've moved and what's there.
On that note, I met with Jerry Dowse from NCC today.
Yes,
I've asked him to give us a quote for, I want to move the existing cameras and security system from the old museum to the new museum/cultural center, along with reactivating the fire alarm system. So he's going to get that to us, and obviously we'll proceed if you want to.
and we're gonna have to, we're gonna have to do it.
It's not purchasing anything new, it's just using the existing equipment. Obviously, it's going to be man hours and
You think
labor.
there's enough equipment?
Yeah, there's plenty for what we want.
Okay, good.
I actually, when I went to meet with him, I actually took the two quotes or the bills or the inventory of equipment we had that we purchased and said, you know, this is what we want, and, you know, based on our conversation, the number of cameras, if we had enough to cover it all.
Good, super, so not a whole lot of it's now than that's just gonna be later.
well, yeah, I mean, we've gotta make sure they get that done. I mean,
Absolutely.
That was one of the notes that Randy Pete's had made, was that the Remington Museum wants to have
Exactly.
an event there, but they won't do it unless the
No,
security.
sure. No, and I don't blame them.
Or,
We want our own stuff secure.
or on that subject, we don't get to committees, has there been appraisals done on the old building yet?
The appraiser we wanted to hire was out of town, if you remember, when we met last. Mike was in contact with him today, he expects him to be here next week, to begin work on that appraisal. So he's back in town and back in the swing of things. Okay, we have some housekeeping business as far as transfers and amendments. What do we have for those? I didn't look
We
down.
don't have any.
We don't have any transfer, okay. All we have is the warrant then.
So moved.
Say,
Motion and a second, to pay the bills. Discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, once again, you have your financial reports. The next scheduled meeting is the 20th, of course, of July. We do need a short executive session to discuss a contract.
When you get done, there's some things I think I need to let you know that's going on between the library and the airport.
Okay,
Okay.
for open session?
No, for committee, I guess, or.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. Okay. We will, let's do committees. Let me get my
I suggest that
people to raise money to pay for the fireworks. What if we were to say the town will put up X amount of money
No.
for the fireworks. And it is a challenge to raise the money to cover the balance. It's a community event. The guy was talking to me today. He said, why doesn't the town just pay for this? I said, well, I mean, Louisville has them. Louisville does them for the summer bash. They put on fireworks. It's a local guy that does them. So I said, well, let me ask the board.
What are you talking about?
Money-wise?
Yeah.
I say we put up, if it's $10,000 cost, I've been told, gotta do some research. I say we put up 5, and challenge them to raise another 5.
Where are you gonna get it?
The money? Oh, come on.
I'm thinking about fishing.
We've got, no, actually, we do have a promotions budget, we publicity, and it was what we've done for the shows and stuff. There is a balance on that, in that account of, right now, it was $42,500. The balance right now is $20,329.41. So, I would hope we're gonna continue to use that money to continue promotion, most of that money, but, we can certainly, use some of that money. We have an $8 million budget, $5,000 isn't gonna kill us,
So you're saying there's $20,000, you wanna use 5,000 of that 20,
potentially.
and 15,000 we'd have
Why
to get.
does Nancy say no?
What's that, Steve?
Why does Nancy say no?
Why do you say no? You don't think it's our place? We can't afford it. We can't afford it? There you go. She says we can't afford it.
But, yeah.
I wanna know what you think about it.
I would just like it to go on.
Move on, is there, if we have, oh, do we have, was the MOU on here, did we miss that?
We can't discuss that tonight because there's a page missing. What's gonna happen with the MOU is Steve and I are going to sit down.
I need a motion to go into executive session, please.
So moved.
Motion and second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Normally,
Thank you.
done.
Aye.
I'll come back here tomorrow and let you know.
There's a possibility of action
Great work.
afterward.
I think,
I
yes,
certainly will,
excellent work.
Great work.
The grant.